Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of AFC Wimbledon, who today find themselves at home in the Capital One Cup, the all-important Capital One Cup. Look at Callum Kennedy's hideous hair. We're playing Oxford United today in a relatively early, in the early rounds of the Capital One Cup. Oxford United, we used to be in the same league as them, but then we got 4 consecutive promotions, and now we're in the Premier League. So are we going to beat them? I don't know. That's something only the future can tell, but I hope so. By the way, in a stunning turn of events, it's raining in England. Who would have ever thunk it? But yeah, today we're up against Oxford. We're starting Dickie and Dino. Dickie and Dino. It's a hot new buddy comedy about the assassination of the leader of North Korea. No, it's Dicko and Dini, our two strikers. They're strong. They're big. They're very different people, but they have a magical connection that's difficult to even talk about. Also in midfield, Les Moore and the Golden Child. And then out on the wing today, we're starting Yabamba on the left side of midfield. You can expect him to attack because he does like to score occasionally. Yeah, so that's the update on the team. Today I'm going to talk about the first time I fell in love and like first love and stuff. I think the first time I ever said I love you to someone in a semi-romantic context was in 3rd grade. I was always fascinated with like romantic love and wanted to experience it and wondered whether I was experiencing it and all that. Like I would often think that I was in love. I remember I briefly dated a girl in 9th grade who was well, we were both very goth. Oh, my goodness! Dicko to Deanie. Show me the mustache. Oh. Who? Deanie. It was Deanie, ladies and gentlemen. He may have partied hard last night, but not so hard that he can't score against Oxford in the 3rd minute. Just posted the guy up. Old school Wimbly Wombly goal. Cross it into the box. Let it hit Deanie's beautiful big head. Good stuff. I like it. I like the way we're starting. So, yeah, but when I was in 9th grade, I used to tell that girl. In fact, I guess I had 2 girlfriends in 9th grade, and I used to tell her all the time that I loved her, and she was a little more hesitant, you know, a little more rational about all of it, and she would say like, "I really care about you" or whatever. Oh, oh, oh! Nice goalkeeping there, Oxford United. Credit to you. I like to give credit where credit is due, especially when I'm winning. I find that I'm a much better sportsman when I'm not losing. My sportsmanship really goes out the window when I'm losing, which is the test of it, I guess. So anyway, and I never really. And then throughout high school, like on several occasions, I would tell people that I was either in love with. Are you hurt? Either in love with them or falling in love with them or whatever. No, you're fine. But I wasn't looking back on it. So like I think. I don't know. You can never judge whether other people are in love. Like, I mean, lots of my friends fell in love in high school, or even when they were younger. And like, I think like if you asked them about it now, they would say that they were indeed. Oh, come on, that was going to be a goal for Yabamba. They would say that they were indeed in love. I know, but Yabamba wasn't offside, and the pass was ultimately going to go. Well, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the best pass for Yabamba. Anyway. You can't. I don't want to judge other people's experience or anything like that. But the first time I fell in love was actually on the internet with a girl I met online. This is before people even met online. Before that was cool and hip. Before Grindr, or even before mobile phones. So back in the early '90s, when CompuServe and Prodigy were the 2 main sort of national providers of internet connectivity. There was no there was a web, but it was very small. The web was not a big deal back then. But anyway, back then, I was on the CompuServe student forum with a lot of people who are still friends of mine today, and also this young woman with whom I fell in love. But we just talked on the phone a lot. I never saw pictures of her or anything because there was no digital cameras really, so people didn't really have digitized pictures of themselves. So it didn't seem weird not to have seen a picture of her. But we did really like each other. I just thought she was cool and smart and funny, and she had a cute voice and cute name. This was back in a time like you used your real name on the internet. That was So that was a judge of people. I don't know. It was just such a different. It was different world. It's difficult to describe. But anyway, long story short, we met. She and I. We went to. I drove to Maryland, where she lived, my freshman year of college, and we went and we hung out. And it's very strange to meet someone you've known for years, because we had known each other for two or 3 years, or maybe even 4 by that point. You know, off and on, not like we talked every day or anything. And I certainly wouldn't have. I mean, I dated other people during those years, and like never considered her to be, you know, a girlfriend or anything. She was just like a friend who was a girl. But then when we met, there was definitely a tension there. There was definitely like a feeling of weirdness. We didn't kiss or anything, but we just had a nice, really nice time. I remember like we went and got coffee. I wasn't much of a coffee drinker, but I sort of faked it for her. And then it's so strange that I met someone off the internet who I had no idea if they were real. And I just like met them in a parking lot somewhere. But anyway, it all worked out. Don't do this, children of today. It was a different world. The internet back then had a really high barrier of entry. Like, you know, it was difficult to navigate. Like, it wasn't like it is now. It was just orange characters or green characters on a black screen. And so it was different. Like, the type of people who were on the internet were just a different type of people. And the internet community was much different and smaller. So anyway, and then I we went to her old middle school, or maybe old high school, and we just like sat on this hillside, which in retrospect was it had to be, but it wasn't. In retrospect, that was super like romantic, but I didn't feel like it was romantic at the time. Like I didn't feel like she wanted me to make a move. Zaya! 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 Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, God. I felt like I was looking into the eyes of God in that moment. It was beautiful. Oh, Zaya. Hallelujah. Sorry if that was blasphemous, but, I mean, that is how I literally felt. Oh, my God. It's just beautiful right into the back corner. Love it. I love it. We're winning 2-0 here at the end of the first half. Everything is beautiful, and nothing hurts. Okay. I know it's just Oxford United, but it's been such a difficult start to the season. I want us, and I told the guys this, I was like, I want us to enjoy the games we can win. I want us to enjoy winning them. Speaking of which, their keeper is a genius, but not enough of a genius to stop Dicko, 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 Dicko. Dicko, 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 Dicko. Dicko, 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 Dicko just scored a goal. Couldn't really get it in the right key there, Meredith. I don't know. Meredith literally just took her earbuds out. That's never a good sign. I'm not going to apologize for that Dicko song because it came from a place of total joy. We scored technically 2 goals in 1 minute. It's halftime. It's 3-0. Going to make some substitutions. Keep everybody happy. Let the goal scoring commence. That was beautiful stuff, man. Just 3 great goals. And I mean, to be fair to their keeper has had himself a very good game. It's just that, you know, it's hard to compete with the Wimbly Womblys. Mose Vestergaard again finds himself very tired at the end of the first half. He's only 17 years old, but I expect a little more out of him. We're going to bring on Frankenstein, and then we're going to wait to bring on John Green until around the 60th minute. Make sure they get some playing time, keeps them happy. Yeah, so after that first meeting, like I said, we didn't kiss or anything. Like, we saw each other the next day, and as I recall, and I probably misremember this, because if we've learned anything from the podcast Serial, it's that humans misremember everything. But I think we spent that day in, like, a park, and I remember, like, there were, like, kids playing on the playground, and I was thinking to myself, which is the strangest thought that you can possibly have, like, oh, maybe I'll have kids with this girl. I was, like, 19 years old. But it was that kind of like, it was, I don't know, it just felt like it felt like a very serious connection. That said, I was not in love with her then. You know, she and I ended up dating for like a little more than 2 years. And I would say like within a few months, you know, we were definitely in love, but not for a while. And but it's a funny thing. I mean, look, the idea of being in love is a construct, right? Like it's something that we're using language to try to describe an experience. But I guess for me, the thing is that falling in love is not an event for me. It's a process. Like being in love with someone is also not an event. It's not like I saw her and I was like, oh. But I did feel this, you know, that same like giggly weirdness of infatuation for quite a long time. I mean, even after we broke up, to be honest, like I would still, when we would talk on the phone or whatever, I would still get that like weird drop in the stomach and everything. But we had but I mean, I think it was, I feel very lucky in retrospect to have had this like relationship with, you know, like a really smart, independent, you know, open-minded, caring person, even though it didn't turn into a marriage, because like that's not the only point of relationships. Like relationships don't just exist to turn into marriages. And also I think sometimes like we like to think that things that don't last forever are failures, but like not to be too morbid about it, but nothing lasts forever. There is no such thing as a relationship that lasts forever. They just end for different. Oh my goodness gracious. Dini is having himself a ball game. Oh, Dini, show me the robot. Yes. Oh, who scored that goal, Meredith? It was Dini. Who? Dini. He's a magician. I love it. I think that might get lost on people who don't even know who Houdini is because I'm so old. So old. I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. Yeah, I don't think the only point of romantic relationships or any relationship is for it to like last forever. I think it's also about, you know, being able to learn about yourself and hopefully learn something about empathy and you know, learn how to better care for people and also, you know, learn mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in that relationship and I mean not like cheating or anything, but like it was just a you know, I could have done a much better job of being a good partner. I could have been much more empathetic. I could have been like less focused on myself and my needs, and that was, you know, that was part of the process of being in that relationship was like learning that about myself, which was a very difficult, you know, terribly difficult thing. Don't recommend it, but also really really helpful and important. And I think like all the time about the way that's shaped my adulthood. Like the way that our time together shaped the way that I am, you know, the person I am now. So I have great, yeah, I think when you're in a long-term relationship and when you fall in love for the first time, if it doesn't end in marriage, I mean, it is definitely devastating. I've never been so, well, maybe one other time, but it was really, really difficult time of my life. But it was also like a really good time of my life in retrospect because I learned a lot. Come on, Yabamba, show some attitude. Get toward the ball. God, I mean, Yabamba's been unhappy. That's part of the reason he's playing today because he doesn't like just practicing. He wants to be part of the club but he's, you know, I mean, we're in the Premier League now and he's got the same skill level challenges that he had at the beginning of his career. I mean, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's not the fastest player in the world. So it's a challenge, but I believe in him. I think he has a role on this team. We've got so many young players. I think we need experienced players like Yabamba who have played professional football for a long time and also understand what a blessing it is to be in the Premier League. So I think we need him, but I haven't been that thrilled with his work rate, to be honest. So, and he gave up the ball rather easily there. But you never know. I mean, goals come from strange places, and he's definitely a good player and definitely a part of our, you know, hopefully a part of our future. Tomorrow is transfer deadline day, so we'll find out. But yeah, I still like Yabamba. He's still a hugely important part of the way that I imagine the Wimbly Womblys. So hopefully he'll come together. That was not an impressive spell of possession at all, though. However, we are winning by. Whoa! Look at that. That's an unusual. 4 for 34. It's just we got a bad angle, I guess. Yeah. So I guess one of the questions I get a lot is like, how do you know that you're in love? Which I think again, like you have to remember that like these are words that we made up. They aren't like they don't have inherent meaning. Like it's not like it's one objective thing to be in love. So I would more like listen to listen to yourself and to your partner instead of focusing so much on other people's language. We won the game. We beat Oxford United 4-0. Dini, Ozea, Dicko, and Dini. Great game for Dini. Great game for Seb Brown. Oh, he's just looking great in that turtleneck, don't you think? Thanks for watching. Our opponents have put their hands on their hips in shame. Best wishes.